All right, Padres fans. So the Major League Baseball All-Star Ballot, it is out. And as you can see here on my ballot, I have all Padres. Is Crony, Kim, Grisham, Nola, Carpenter, or do they have really any shot of being an All-Star this year? Probably not. But I'm a Padres fan. I'm voting for him. Yeah, you're damn right I voted for Austin Nola. Now, I think there are write-in votes. So you could vote for Luis Camposano. You could vote for Brett Sullivan, even though he's in El Paso. You probably could vote for Gary Sanchez here after one game. Now, this first phase of the ballot, it's open through, I think, June 22nd. So there's still a long time here for guys to improve seasons and all that, or not improve and get worse. But for now, I think you're looking at, for Padres players, like starting players, who could start the All-Star game. I think you're looking at two guys here, because Hader, obviously, he's a reliever. I think you're looking at Soto and Tatis. And Tatis might not even start because there's someone named Mookie Betts that plays that same spot. I know it's the outfield, so there's 3 outfield spots. So I would assume one's going to go to Acuna, and then Soto could get one, and then maybe they'll go Mookie. Like, that would work. Maybe there's someone obvious that I'm just forgetting right now, but I could see that being the outfield. Or just Tatis based off of his name. He's still popular, very popular amongst the kids. I know there's a lot of fans that like to boo him on the road and all that, but he's very popular. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tatis and Soto get voted as starting players. And maybe Betts doesn't get voted as a starter. He ends up being on the bench. Or Acuna. I mean, Acuna's having the best season out of any, I think, stats-wise, out of any National League outfielder, so he should be starting. But you never know with the fan voting, right? Remember that one year, I think it was 2016, at Petco, I remember it was an all-Cubs infield, I think, and then there was a couple outfielders that were Cubs. Like, the Cubs fans just took over the vote. And they were a good team then, too, so the casual fans also voted for Cubs players, but they didn't vote for the whole team. But Cubs fans took over the vote. You can vote up to 5 times per day. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think you should just have like 1 vote a day, or 1 vote like a week, instead of having 5 every day. But that's just the way it is. And so if we move over to who will actually be an all-star on this roster, how many All-Stars will the Padres have? At the beginning of the season, what would you say? 8, maybe? 8 All-Stars? But now, how many are the Padres really looking at? 3? Maybe 4 if you get Manny in there? Hader, Soto, Tatis, I think, could get in there. And Manny, maybe because he bounces back, or just because of his name. He's not having a good year right now. We'll see what happens. Again, there's a long way away till this voting closes and until the All-Star. Look, All-Star at third base, I mean, for the National League, it's probably going to be Nolan. Like, that's just the way it is. So bench players, those aren't voted on, I believe, by the fans. Those are voted on by, I think, the players and coaches. Maybe writers have something to do with that as well. Not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But Manny could get in that way. But realistically, first base, I mean, Pete Alonso, you would think, should deserve it now. Or Freddie Freeman, I mean, has OPS way over 1,000. Goldschmidt, right? Like, Crony's not going to be getting there at first base. We knew that going into the year. Second base, Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, it's not a lot of strong names here, but there's guys that have better OPSs. They've had better years. There's some that are bigger names as well. So I don't see Kim getting in there. Look at third base with Manny, right? So Arenado, obviously, he's going to be starting, you would think, like, just because of the fan vote, right? Now, who would get in? I forget how many third basemen get in, but I think Austin Riley has a strong shot. I think Max Muncy, with the Dodger following, obviously, has a strong shot. We'll see with Patrick Wisdom for the Cubs fans. I don't think he will, but I'm just saying because of the fan base and the votes. But again, the votes are just for the starting player. So if they don't win the starting player one, then they have to get in, I believe, by the votes by coaches and other players and stuff. So yeah, Manny, I think he has a shot just being respected around the game, especially if he comes back and has a much stronger, I don't know, second half, I guess, of the first half of the season, if that makes sense. So Arenado, but then there's some other names in there that could get there ahead of Manny if they only bring like 2 third basemen in the National League. Shortstop. So Bogarts, I think obviously he's a big name, so he'll get votes by fans. But who deserves it more? Does Bogarts deserve it over Lindor? Does he deserve it over Dansby? Does he deserve it over Trey Turner? Trey Turner's been pretty bad. His own mom is booing him. So I think Bogarts could actually be voted in as a shortstop, but they could also move some other players to shortstop during this game, if that makes sense, to get them in. Like they have done that before. Maybe not to shortstop, but from shortstop to another spot. Because it is for the fans. Like the All-Star game doesn't matter anymore. You don't need to be playing your actual specific position. So maybe we'll see that. But I think, looking at this list, I think Bogarts has a shot. Definitely. Right now for the Padres, how many All-Stars do I see? I see 3. Hader, Soto, Tatis. But, there's replacements and all that. I'd probably add Bogarts to that list as the 4th. I think Manny could get in. So I think you're looking at probably 5, maybe max right now. I don't see anyone else getting voted in by anyone really. But like guys that I think deserve the All-Star appearance right now, I would say Hader. I mean, Soto got off to a slow start, but I mean, look what he's doing in May. Hader, Soto, and then Tatis, he is cooled off as well. But it is the All-Star game. He's one of the faces of baseball, right? Like, I'd put Tatis in there still. And then, but Bogarts, he's right there with Tatis as a guy that might deserve getting in there. So that's shortstop. Now, catcher, obviously, we can just scroll right past this. I mean, holy crap. Austin Hedges has a 430 OPS. He has a better batting average than Austin Nola. That's how bad Nola's been. I voted for Nola just like as a joke. I mean, just all Padres. But obviously, JT Realmuto, he'll probably get fan vote because he's like the one big name catcher that fans know. Sean Murphy, obviously, I think he's deserving of it as well. Will Smith as well. There's actually more named pretty big name catchers than I remember. I mean, Realmuto's just right off the top of your head, right? He's the guy that you think of. We'll see who gets the starting job. But obviously Nola, he's like at the bottom of the list who deserves an All-Star appearance. Outfield, so does Soto deserve it? I think he does. At the end of this voting period, I think he'll be deserving of a starting spot alongside Acuna. Would it be alongside Acuna and Betts? That's what I'm thinking right now. Acuna and Betts, put him alongside them. Yeah. Just scrolling all the way. There's a lot of options, obviously, because it's outfield. Yeah. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be Tatis, Soto, Acuna, or Soto, Acuna, Betts, or I find it hard to believe that Acuna is not going to be starting. So yeah, I think, and Betts with, big name, the fan base, everything, I think he'll start. So right now I'd say probably Soto, Betts, Acuna for who will end up being the voted starting outfield by the fans, the National League. But let me know if you disagree in the comments. And then DH, obviously Matt Carpenter, nowhere near going to be the DH. I think Bryce Harper, just based on name, could get it. Look at other guys. JD Martinez, 922 OPS entering today. Yeah, DH spot, it's not that strong. Jorge Soler. But the DH spot, like, it's pretty much going to be, okay, the starter, whoever the starter is, whoever it's voted in, if it's not Harper, then it'll probably be just other bats that will get in and end up DHing after that, I would imagine. That did not start at like shortstop or didn't start at third. Maybe Manny gets in as a DH. just because he's a name at the end, or he just starts playing better, which I wouldn't doubt. So those are my thoughts. How many All-Stars do you think the Padres will be getting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Right now, I say three or four. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. All right. Thanks for watching.